Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we doing, everyone? So let me know how the audio is. Probably need to bring it down just a hair. And we'll get rocking and rolling here. Check 1 2, 1 2. Hello, how are we doing today, everyone? Probably gonna do short, little sweet. Let me close this here so that it doesn't reflect. Um, Probably gonna do a short little stream today. I have a little haul that we're gonna be taking a look at, and uh, I guess as well we're gonna be taking a look at a couple of different things that I've just been working on in the background here. As you guys are aware, I'm in the middle of two comics. I'm working on the second anthology. All of my pages for that are completely finished, but we still have to get all the design work done. Somebody had already submitted something. His name's Russell Brown. He's somebody who's in the community here. Great work. Dude draws his ass off. It's honestly a super sick piece. It's not pages or anything like that. It's just like a cover slash pinup sort of thing. But I think I'm gonna slap that bad boy probably on the cover. Is kind of what I'm thinking, because it's definitely probably going to be like one of the stronger pieces that we're going to be getting for it. At least that's what I anticipate in terms of like pinup cover wise. The other people that are working on things, they're all pages. So that's what we're going to be looking at them. So that's going to be pretty sick to show that off. I think once we get a little closer to like the deadline for the book, or once we get a little further into it, because I did announce it earlier. I didn't want to announce it until June 1st and then have it be like that 4 week process from June to July. But the Sean Crystal, his Kickstarter is going to be starting on June 1st, and I didn't want like my post and anything like that to get buried during that time. So I just decided just to wait out on it, or just to do it early, and then probably like the week after, probably like the second week of June or something, I'll go on and like kind of post what everybody has already submitted to me. Because like I said, the cover slash pinup that we have that's already been submitted, thing's fucking sick, and like I said, it's probably going to be a cover more than likely. I have both a black and white and I have a color version. Is what I might end up doing at some point before the book ends up going out. We'll probably put up both the black and the color version, put a poll on it, see whatever wins, and then that's what's going to end up getting slapped onto the cover then. And then for let's go ahead and start getting into some nitty gritty stuff here. Share my screen. Gotta restart my camera here. It does that. There we go. All right, so I have a couple new things up in my shop. If you guys have not seen it already, it's just sam/mcclurg.com. I got all of my prints. I have those available currently. I have a couple. I got about five a piece. I want to say to sell. The new thing that I have here is going to be the Greatest Sketches mini sketchbook, I guess is what you'll call it. There's 12 drawings. Well, there's 12 pages. There's more than 12 drawings in here. But it's, like I said, it's a mini sketchbook. So this is what it ended up looking like here. So I'm selling them for $2 a piece. Gotta go to my overhead camera. So this is what it ends up looking like. So I have a couple of orders that are going to be going out. If you guys haven't ordered a anthology #1 from me, make sure that you get your orders in, because these things I can only probably sell like I said last week, probably like about another 20 to 25 of them before I have to cut it off my website. Purely because I need the stock to sell at cons. I got a con coming up in about a week and a half, and then I have Eddie Con coming up in September, which I feel like at Eddie Con, the majority of the stuff, that's where it's going to be getting moved at. So I have to have the stock for that. So if you want to get one directly from me, you're not going to be able to get to any of the cons that I'm going to be attending of this upcoming summer here. Make sure you grab it off my website because I'm gonna have to pull them down eventually. But this is what you get when you get an order from me. Basically, this person had ordered both the comic book and the sketchbook. But you get my little business card down here, and it's just kind of like a little design that I had made. Let's let that focus. Come on, focus. It doesn't want to focus on it. But yeah, it's just like a little business card that I made. It had like a design. I kind of wanted to go for like a retro PC kind of look. I was playing a lot of Suda 51 games at the time, so you know, No More Heroes, um, whatever the hell else the guy had done that I was playing at the time. Man, what the hell was the name of that PlayStation game? Whatever, it doesn't even make a difference. But um, I had that's what that was kind of the design that I was going for with this. And then on the back here as well, I have my own little QR code sticker that I made, and that just goes directly to my website because my website will direct everybody to where you know they need to go. My store is there, my YouTube channel is there, all that kind of stuff. And then with the sketchbook, so this is what the a mini sketchbook ended up ultimately looking like. If you guys want to know how I made the cover for this, I made a short probably about 3 weeks ago or so when I had done the cover for this. Um, just to get a little inside baseball, because that's why we're here, is what I ended up doing. Let me take a look here at something. Okay, cool. Um, what I wanted to what I wanted to do is there is a Public Enemy record, and let me grab this, that I was trying to go for like the feel of. So this is the cassette for it, and as you can see, that's the general look that I was trying to go for here. Pretty spot on, not exact, but you know it doesn't need to be exact. I'm not trying to copy the damn thing. I'm just homaging it. But I thought that was a pretty cool idea, so that's what I had done there. I took a picture of myself, cut it out with my X-Acto knife, and went outside, took a black can of spray paint, spray painted the Bristol board with it, pasted my face on here, centered it, pasted on there, I should say, and then I drew this reticle over top with correction fluid. So all this is basically hand done. The only thing that's digital on this is going to be the bullet holes there. Couldn't quite figure out how to get the bullet holes to look right. I was drawing some, but with like the way that it's supposed to look like glass, you know what I mean? Was the way that I was trying to make it look, and just like every time I was drawing it, it really looked weird on like white ink on top of the black paper. So I just ended up ultimately just grabbing some like decals off of you know, stock image or whatever, and just throwing them in there and using them, and I think it turned out pretty good. But then once you do order one of these sketchbooks from me, you do get a free drawing on the back. So that was something that I was trying to do, or thought would be a cool idea. I think I had seen Jim Food do this with like his ballpoint Slayers thing. He kind of, Jesus, what the fuck? I don't know if you guys heard that or had seen that. Maybe no, I don't think you can see it in the shot, but I have like a X-Men little like shadow box, and it has like a bunch of like X-Men figures in, like the Toy Biz X-Men figures, like a little shadow box that I have, and the thing just fell off the wall and is shattered on the ground right here, so there's like glass and stuff all over the floor. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it like smacked on my because my drawing desk, it's like right above my drawing desk, and it like landed on my drawing desk, and the thing just smashed down here on the floor. That's crazy. It's okay. um Anyways, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way so the dog doesn't get on it. Wow. Just give me a second here, folks. That was kind of crazy, actually. Yeah, this thing's a mess. I'm just trying to get all this glass up off the floor here. I got a little broom thing or whatever. I'm gonna sweep this up. Yeah, my roommate's cat too, like a week or so ago, he knocked over my lava lamp and shattered that on the floor. That's the second time that's happened. The first time it happened, my dog walked by and smacked the end table. She's a 120-pound dog, so she can move stuff, but she like ran past the end table that the lava lamp was on, and it like teeter-tottered and it fell over and it smashed that time too. But all right, I got this all cleaned up here. I think we're good to get back doing what we're doing here. Sorry about that. All right, so you get the free drawing on the back. That was something, like I said, like I think Gemma Food was doing that. On Bone Point Slayers, this is something that I kind of picked up from there. Um, there's only going to be 75 of these getting printed up and put out, and then each of them is just gonna have its own individual custom drawing on there. And then this one that's going out just happens to have Dick Tracy on it. So I ended up doing, because what I've sold 3 of these so far. So I've done a Splinter, I've done a Dick Tracy, and then I did a Ken Stein, which is like my own character that I've made up, designed, and he's going to be getting revealed in the new anthology that we're going to be putting out here in a couple months. So that'll be a lot of fun. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start getting into the haul here. Actually, a lot of this stuff was given to me for free. So the guy at the comic shop, the owner, Zach, he had come up to me and said, hey, on Free Comic Book Day, because I haven't been in since before Free Comic Book Day, actually. Just been busy, just doing shit. And he's like, you actually won a raffle. He said every year, we do a raffle on Free Comic Book Day. Basically anything that I have in the shop that I can't get rid of, sell, this has been kind of laying around. He's like, I'll just, if you have a pull box with me, basically I just put everybody's numbers in a pull box, pull one, and then that stack of comics that he just kind of has laying around, he just gives to them. I was the winner of the comics. So I went into the shop and I went over to my pull box and this stack was in there and I was like, whoa, 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 what the hell is all this? And then I saw that they weren't new books. And then, he filled me in on it and I was like, hell yeah, man. Can't complain. And then on top of that, it's like we got some Johnny Ryan goodness in there, some Roberta Gregory goodness in there, and I'm like, this is, underground to a T. And the thing is with this stuff, it's like, none of this I can show on YouTube. Especially those 2 comics, but these other things, I think we should be able to flip through them and take a look to see kind of what we're looking at. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this will be for sure safe to show. All right, let's see what this is. Again, this is just completely random. This looks like it's just some sort of, I'm assuming it's an anthology. It says A+ issue 5. So this is from 78. Wow, this is like some pretty new independent comics. Oh, this is Megaton. Interesting. So Megaton is like an anthology book that people that kind of got a start in, so people like Eric Larson and who else was in there? Was Valentino ever in there? I can't remember, but that's the main person that I can remember that Eric Larson was in Megaton, and that's where the first appearance of Savage Dragon was in. I think that was where he had first appeared, was in Megaton. I could be wrong there, but at least it's one of the first appearances of Dragon, at least was in that. And I didn't realize that Megaton was around for this long. These are some outlaw looking faces too here. Just always have these weird, just like facial structure all look the same. And I have the unfortunately it's like I try to draw like this. Um they're bad drawings. Like they really are. Like the faces are wonky, the proportions are wonky. But I always just liked how these kind of comics looked. And I think that like they have more heart and personality in them than like your generic superhero comic. You know what I mean? Because you can tell like the person that's drawing this stuff is trying to draw something that they can't, but they're pushing themselves. You know what I mean? Like it's still a readable image, and I think that's all that really matters. And it's like you see a lot of this in like early Tim Vigil stuff, you know, James O'Barr, things like that, where you see like these, like I said, they're like outlaw faces. They're no other genre you like see the faces like this. It's very hard to describe, and yeah, I don't know. It's just like one of those things that you just kind of pick up looking at a lot of comics. I know that the kayfabe guys talked about it a lot, to where the outlaw, you know, crew kind of has like weird obscure faces like that. So this is cool. So yeah, this is exactly what I thought. It's like a anthology book. Some pretty cool stuff in here. So I figured that Megaton would have been something that would have been based out of like, you know, the Bay Area, San Francisco, considering that's what Eric Larson was first published in, but I guess not. This is a wild image right here. Just this dude just holding a pistol on this baby. It's like a little elf baby, but still. Yeah, the owner of the comic shop, he was like, this is probably some weird shit that you'd be into anyways. He's like, so even if I didn't give this stuff to you for free now, it's like I would have given it to you anyways. Sorry, I had clicked on that on accident. He's like, because nobody is ever gonna buy any of this shit, and it's like, I don't think he realizes that like people are like really interested in like stuff like this, especially, you know, guys like myself, but just like weird obscure comics. Throw them in your dollar bin or whatever if you're not going to be able to get rid of them, because it's like this is the kind of stuff that I'm trying to hunt down. You know what I mean? It's like I don't need another copy of Hulk 340. You know what I mean? It's like let's just send it. Just give me just weird obscure comics that I've never seen before. And this is no exception, man. Still, it's like I didn't realize that Megaton was around in the 70s. It's kind of crazy. I figured that they would have just been purely just like an 80s indie startup sort of company. Good stuff, man. Alright. The little phallic there. 100% that's Han Solo. There is just no way that this dude did not use like Harrison Ford or like maybe like a Mel Gibson. But like this right here is straight up just like looks like Han Solo. So that's a pretty good monster face though, this down here. Not bad, man. There's actually piqued my interest a little bit. Might have to try to hunt some more of these down. A+. Well, we know there's at least another 5 of these previous to this, so... Interesting, interesting. All right, so this next one here, I was pretty excited when when the owner at the comic shop had handed this to me because right off the start, you see it, boom, right here, got our boy Nexus, but I don't see any Steve Rude here on the side, so that's kind of interesting. I'm not entirely sure what this is. It says that it's the first publishing holiday special. It doesn't even look like this thing has ever even been opened before, like it's never been cracked. So let's see what we got here. Oh, so this is like Nexus where Steve Rude was not on, or they just had a bunch of guest people kind of going in and drawing it and everything like that, and the dude ended up coming back. I don't know, they did like 13 issues or something like that without the dude attached to him. So this looks like it is just like an anthology style book. Dreadstar is so cool, man. I know that they had done a Kickstarter recently to bring that back. Dreadstar is very like Legion 89, Legion 90, Space Ghosty. It's like very weird, obscure, like sci-fi kind of stuff. And of course, Zero Tolerance. So this is kind of crazy to me because like a face like this, like a smile like that, you'd kind of think of like a McFarlane or something. But this definitely predates at least. It predates like the Image days, because what this came out in 90, I think it said. Let's see. Yeah, it came out in 1990. So this is like right around that time when the Marvel guys started really coming up to the rise. And they're about to dip to go to Image. So I mean, you definitely can see that style of like the Jim Lees and all that kind of stuff kind of coming through on the comics at this time. And then of course Nexus. Steve Rude is my all-time favorite artist, but he did not do any of this, and that is plain as day. You can just tell, the dude's drawings from anybody else's drawings. That's a cool little pin-up. Now, who did this pin-up? Does it say who it's credited to? Let's see. It doesn't say. Maybe it was Matt Wagner, but I mean, he says he was on the cover, but it doesn't say who's actually on the back, or who did this pin-up here. Interesting. But it said that, yeah, it said that Tim Vigil was in this. Ah, Zero Tolerance, that's what it was. Oh yeah, you can see it now. Huh. The printing in that book is not very good, especially for like a higher end like paperback is what this is bound as. The print quality and it's pretty wonky actually. It's like the printer just completely was offset and was like missing its lines. I believe that this is safe to show as well. Like I said, all these comics were just handed to me yesterday, and like three of them I opened up like right away. They're just underground outlaw crap that I read, and it's like you can't show it on YouTube, of course, so it's kind of defeats the purpose. But this was pretty cool from what I had seen. I had flipped through this a little bit yesterday, and it looks like that this is from Kunson is the name of the cartoonist that had done this. Uh, my monkey's name is Jennifer. Hell if I know. First time I've ever seen this. Maybe I had seen it like in an anthology or something like that, possibly at one point in time. But it reminds me a lot of like the original Mask. It kind of has like that weird ink like jazz look is what I would consider it. Where it just has like I said, it looks like jazz art is the best way to describe it. It's hard to read. Like this image right here, it's like what is even going on in that? You know what I mean? So some of the stuff is like it looks cool, but when you actually have to like make it panel to panel, like look at this. Like this is a fucking mess. Like I get that this is looks like film reels with some film hanging off of it. Like they're in like an editing bay or something. It looks like maybe. Um, but yeah, there's just too much ink just kind of getting flung around in random places, and it's hard to follow. I'm in the process of going through a course at SVS, and we're just learning a lot about storytelling just in general. So when I look at stuff, I try to look at it more of like at a critical eye, and kind of like how does the actual image move through the comic, like how you're reading it in the Z pattern. And this thing is a mess, man. I really think it comes down to the illustrations in the comic because it's like look how messy this is. Like it's how cluttered it is. Try to bring it up a little closer to the screen. Like you get that this dude is jumping out the window, and it's kind of that Sin City shot of Marv, jumping out that everybody kind of takes. But the amount of black ink and then white, and then you have these smaller glass shards with the smaller pen nib. I think if they would have gone and done a thicker line on some of these glass shards, especially the ones that are more in the foreground, it would have made it pop a little more. It just looks like a bunch of scribbles on the page, and it's really hard to read. I think that's where we're gonna call it on this one. Let's just go ahead and move to the next. Interesting comic though. Kind of all over the place in terms of, like I said, it's quality, I guess, it's readability. Mephisto and the Empty Box. So this is the first thing that I actually picked up yesterday and had started to read and go through. I actually, is this the, no, because I read a couple of the like underground outlaw books I had already gone through and read yesterday. But I did read this, and this is actually a really cool book. I'm not too sure when it came out. Let's take a look here. 2001 it says. So the Jason Hall and Matt Kent is who's on this. No idea who those dudes are, but this was a really cool book. I think that the illustrations in it are definitely very European. Kind of has like that thin pencil line kind of look to it. If you guys are into your European comics and like your Mobiuses and like people like that, you know what I'm talking about. Very thin lines. But this is a pretty cool story. Like I said, I already had read through this. Basically, it is about a magician, and he puts his wife slash girlfriend into the box. The basically, or I should say, the magician, they go on this date. The magician puts his the the guest's girlfriend or wife into the box, and then the magician literally makes her disappear. So then that's kind of where the story kind of comes into play. It's like, how are we, how am I going to get my wife back from like her disappearing in this magic trick? This dude walks into the magic club, guns down the magician, and then guns himself down. So then that's where the problem kind of lays in, because he's like, oh shit, my girlfriend went into the box, the magician made her disappear. Opens up the box and she's gone. So it's like, how am I going to get her back? So basically, is what happens here throughout the story is, he decides to become a magician himself. He learns the magic trick, and he ends up bringing her back. That's literally, it's pretty basic, but it's really the storytelling, and I think just like the flow of everything is what really makes this pop. Like I said, it's called Mephisto and the Empty Box, and it's just a one and done story from what it looked like. And I would honestly recommend to pick this up. It's just something random that the owner at the comic shop had handed over to me and gave to me. But if you do see this floating around in like back issue bins on eBay or whatever, like I said, it's a cool book. So why not pick it up? All right. So this is Diabolic Volume 1, Number 6, apparently. Again, this is one of those things, I have no idea what this even was. It just got handed to me for free. After flipping through it a little bit and kind of taking a look at what's going on in this, I am pretty sure that this is an Italian crime comic that was translated into English, and then it's just one of those things that made it over here into the States. And I think that this was originally published in like the 90s. Yeah, it was 99 when this was originally published. This company, Genko, it's been since defunct. But that's all this is just like reprints, or yeah, I mean, that's what it is. They're just reprints of older comics that have been since translated into English, kind of bringing them over here, of this like Diabolic character. I have yet to read this. I flipped through it a little bit. I mean, like, this is some pretty cool drawings here. But for the most part, though, this just kind of seems like, again, just European comics kind of stuff, and this is probably going to end up going in like a sale pile for me. Probably end up getting rid of that. Alright, so the next thing that we got here to take a look at is going to be Evil Eye. So this is Richard Sala. I've seen this before. I may even have an issue of this dug in a box somewhere, but I definitely have seen this comic before. Again, with the very European looking comic. And this is something that you see more and more in like the, the indie kind of scene. It's sort of like this more scratchy pen style. Like I said, it's like, I view this as like a European style comic. Like, this is very underground R. Crummy here, kind of. That's... I'm getting her face smashed in with the hammer, okay. So, like, shit like this really cracks me up when you see stuff like this in comics, because, like, the rest of these drawings, they're okay. I mean, like, they're probably, like, on the same, like, drawing level like I would be. I mean, this is more cartoony than, like, the style that I would draw. But, figure drawing and things like that, I would say that I'm probably, like, in this same skill group for, like, drawing figures. And then when you see shit like this dude 100% found a house in, like, a magazine or something and broke out the light box and traced over top of that. If they did draw this, it's still a pretty basic house. But all of the houses in the background, that's where I grow suspect, because, like, those are still in perspective pretty well. And when you look at the other drawings that are in this, nothing is really in perspective when you actually look at it. You see what I mean? A lot of it is just kind of like more scale than it is playing with perspective, if that makes sense. So I'm pretty sure that was a trace job. You see that a lot too with like buildings and cars. More with cars, you see a lot of tracing get done. Cars are like one of the fucking hardest things you get to draw. I think like cars and like animals are like the two things, in my opinion, that are like the hardest to draw. Besides like little girls and like kids, like babies, like that's really hard to do, especially girls, little girls, man. That's a challenge. Like you can do this, like give them like a heart-shaped uh, face and everything like that, very like Archie style. And I think that's kind of what you have to do and kind of give them again like that Archie nose to get more of a feminine character, but still, it's like it's hard to nail, especially if you're going for like a more realistic rendering. Good luck. Very few people I can see can actually do that. It's like Steve Root is one of them that like nails kids. It's like you kind of have to look at those old like 50s, 60s illustrators, so like your Fawcett's, Rockwell's, so on and so forth. Those kind of guys. You know, it's like anytime you go to your dentist office, doctor's office, whatever, you're going to see like Rockwell paintings probably. It's like just look at them and like look at the kids, and it's like, holy shit! It's like that dude drew a baby, and it's like now you go and try to draw a baby and see how it turns out, because I guarantee you it's like if you're not drawing kids, you can't draw kids, because it's like a whole other skill set in drawing kids. It's like really hard to explain, but it's especially little girls, because like their facial structures are very soft and round and things like that, so you have to have a lot of practice with like drawing soft curves, straights over curves and things like that. A lot of drawing technical ability in rendering kids. So who would have known? And then I'm gonna spare everybody the flip through of these, but basically, I pick these up always, and I just pound through these. Your comicologies, your Jack Kirby collectors, your comic book marketplaces, comics journals, your comics reader, all that kind of crap. Your more industry insider sort of stuff, more of like the interviews with creators and like that kind of crap, less fanboy type shit like you would see in Wizard. So I get down with this kind of stuff. I read this one yesterday in its entirety. There's a Bruce Timm interview, and this had come out pretty much shortly after the Batman the Animated Series had come out. So it's a pretty cool read. I would say that Batman the Animated Series is probably out for like 5 or 6 years now at this point. So they had already wrapped it at this point, and then Batman Beyond had already been out. So I think this had come out in 2000. So yeah, Batman Beyond had already been out at that point, and then I believe that they were probably working on Justice League, or at least getting Justice League ready around this time. But yeah, read through some Bruce Timm. He did the cover on this, so I ended up looking through there's a documentary on YouTube about the animated series. You really don't get a lot of information in there. It's more of just like a super casual, like here's an animated series and it was great for Warner Brothers, and it's like that's kind of what you get. It's very like surface level stuff. So if you want to get into like the nitty gritty about like the production and like the character design and all this kind of stuff, that really isn't the documentary. It's more of, like I said, it's more of just kind of like a general, like, if you weren't familiar with what the animated series was, or you do like the animated series, it's more of like a fan documentary than it is like a process documentary. Again, if that makes sense. Just a lot of like fluff talk and not a lot of shop talk. You know what I mean? And I'm only in it for the shop talk, so. And then, of course, Space Ghost. So I think that they're stopping on 13 issues, I think is what they're doing. So 13 or 14, I think they might be stopping on 14, because I think the first trade was 7 issues, and then the second, might be stopping on, is 12 the last issue? I mean, we know that they're doing an annual. Okay, no, yeah. So I think that they're maybe they expanded this because I could have sworn that somebody had told me that they're only going to be doing like 13 issues of this, and I think that was BS. I think they're going to keep cranking these out. If you guys aren't on the Space Ghost train yet, go hunt down the trade that came out, and they're also going to be doing a second trade of this. This was my comic of the year last year, and it's a Space Ghost comic of all things. Um, the illustration in them are super strong, and then plus it's like if you're into just good storytelling in general, uh, like this takes the cake, and it's just a superhero comic. I think that, man, was it issue 5 or 6? I want to say it was issue 6. So stuff goes down in like issue 4 and 5, and then in issue 6 it kind of comes to pass on like kind of the effects of what happened in those previous issues, and it's like some heavy stuff, and it's like it's enough that it can make you cry. So yeah, man, this is good shit. Yeah, I have no idea who's on this Space Ghost or on this Captain Planet comic. Even at the comic shop, it's like they didn't have any of the issues, and I was kind of asking him like, what's up with the Captain Planet, and he's like, yeah, nobody's on that. I don't think that book is gonna go very far. Captain Planet is like a weird franchise in my opinion. It's something that was from when like I was a kid, and it's very niche. It was around for maybe a season, maybe two. Uh, Short-lived toy line, and I think it's one of those things that lives in people's brains and things like that, like fondly. But when you actually go back and look at Captain Planet, it's just like, you know what I mean? I get it. This like the purpose behind it, the messaging and everything like that. Like, and I'm all for that. Um, but it's like it's not as good as what people think it is. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. So I don't know. It has some redeeming qualities to it, but for the most part, though, it's just like I just kind of ignore it. And then we got our Dick Tracy, number 10. They had took a hiatus on this for a couple months. Like 2 or 3 months, I want to say, because they were working on other things. This book is okay. I think really my thing with it is, it's like, I like Dick Tracy because of the cartooniness nature of it. The goofy ass villains, the stuff that just Chester Gallo just had done since day one. It's like that's what I like about Dick Tracy, and I think once you're changing that, it's kind of like, what are we doing here? I get that people want to make things more grounded and like gritty and realistic, but it's like this would have been a book that you would have put out in like 2004, 2005, 2006. You know what I mean? Like that's when everybody was kind of doing that dark, gritty, realistic sort of take on everything. That would have been the time and place to do this. But in 2025, I don't know. I think if you were to hand me a Dick Tracy book and you were like, hey, draw me a fucking Dick Tracy book, write me a Dick Tracy book, I'd write you one, and it would be, badass. Like, not what we're looking at here. Like, there's some cool stuff that's going on, but, where's my goofy ass villains? You know what I mean? Like, where's my flat top at? Where's my prune face at? Where's my mumbles at? They're nowhere to be found. So, this ain't my Dick Tracy. Hashtag. This is also the other thing that really bothers me. Every issue has the same back cover. Now, you mean to tell me that you guys can't render up another back cover, like even just a graphic that says Dick Tracy on it, something to change it up? It's like every one looks the same, and it just like screams cheap. And the other thing that it screams to me is laziness. You're 10 issues in and you still have yet to change the back image on your fucking book. Figure it out. On the topic of the Space Ghost and the Johnny Quest, they started up Space Quest again. So this is like a crossover that happens pretty often in terms of like Johnny Quest and Space Ghost. Like you get Future Quest that came out a couple of years ago, that had Space Ghost Johnny Quest, Herculoids in there, maybe a couple of other properties. I can't remember, but Future Quest was something that had come out around that, a couple, probably like 10 years or so ago. I had seen that this is pretty much the straight up crew that was doing the Johnny Quest comics. I think they canned Johnny Quest. That might be done now. I don't think so. I don't think so because the last issue they really didn't wrap it up. So I think there's probably is more Johnny Quest coming, but this is straight up the Johnny Quest crew at this point. Same writer, same artist, same colorist, and I was saying in previous videos that I think like Lorenzo Scaramella, I think this dude is the colorist now. At least he's my favorite. And then coloring isn't something that I really pay a lot of attention to because you guys may or may not know I'm colorblind, so like there are some colors that just really don't matter to me, mainly blues and greens and things like that. But his color palette, I can still tell the difference there. It's very pastel, hazy looking. The best way I can describe like the color treatment in this is like Hitman World of Assassination, especially like Hitman 3. It has like I said, it has like a haze on everything, and it just looks very atmospheric and cool. It's very easy to look at on the eyes. I always love the blends of like the yellows and the pinks that he uses. Like I was saying, I think that Lorenzo Scaramella, I think that he's the colorist right now. Everybody points to Daniel Warren Johnson's colorist as well, and I think that he does a very great job. But man, there's just something about like this orangey yellowish hue that Lorenzo like uses on everything that I just love. And I can't wait to actually like get into this and read this because like I think that the Johnny Quest comics and the Space Ghost comics are like some of the strongest things that came out last year, and they're fucking licensed cartoon comics, you know. But why are you gonna complain about good comics, man? Okay. So I took the bait and I did it. I could care less about superhero books, especially modern ones. I keep seeing everybody talking about the Absolute series, your Absolute Batmans and everything like that. They got me on that too. But I want to support anything that is outside the box, even if it's like DC or Marvel or Dynamite, Dark Horses, whatever. This is outside the box. You know what I mean? It's like they found somebody who was doing something that was different aesthetically, and then they ran with it. It's not your generic superhero looking bullshit. It's very 60s, 70s, that psychedelic sort of look to everything. And it just works, man. It's like this stuff here, like I'm not too fond of because I think it kind of looks like generic superhero-y kind of stuff. And then once we like get into this, so like this is when it starts getting good. It's like the lighting starts changing, the color start changing, and like we're getting into it. It's like just all this stuff that's going on, man. Outside of the box, it's just really trippy. And it's like, this isn't a DC book, too. So you gotta give them props for that. They're trying new things. And I decided to pick it up, Like, I highly doubt I'll read any more of these. But they got me on the Martian Manhunter, and I mean Martian Manhunter is an obscure character just in general. It's like if you never watched like the Justice League, it's like in terms of like the cartoon, you don't know who the fuck that dude is. I honestly think that's probably where we're gonna end up wrapping it up here. We're gonna do a shorter stream today. Yeah, I think that's where I'm probably gonna end up wrapping it up here, though. I have a couple of things that I gotta get taken care of. I still gotta get more writing done. I gotta get more drawing done. And then as well, I gotta fix this X-Men thing that fell off the wall earlier in the stream and get that taken care of. Um, but yeah, I think that's probably we're gonna do it. Next week, I'm probably gonna have, I'm gonna have a couple, excuse me, a couple of comics to look at. A short little haul again. But we're probably going to be focused on like an art stream. It's been a little while. The last one that I did pretty well. It was the deleter thing, and that actually got quite a few views on it after the fact. So I think I'm going to do another like tip slash tutorial sort of thing, and I think we're going to go into maybe inking, and just kind of like giving some tips and things like that there, and just kind of like little techniques and whatnot that I've used. See if that gets any traction. Might talk about writing or something. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll figure it out. But it's gonna be more on the creation side of things. So that's what we're gonna be doing next week then. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna call it. So hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend. Have a good week, and then I'll see you next Sunday. Peace.